free.
Yes.
Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russell here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. But then again, you already know that, don't you? Because that's why you've tuned in. Because we say the things that nobody else dare say. Right. First of all, I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing and sharing the videos on your WhatsApp, because I've been checking on my analytics and it tells me that you're all doing that. So isn't that good? Team effort. Right. My next guest. Today I'm joined by Mozza from Wolverhampton, ex-British Boxing Board of Control referee. How are you doing, Mozza?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Russ. Are you okay?
I'm okay, mate. I'm all right. Nice to see you. Finally catch up
again. Yeah, right? It's been a while.
Yeah. You've been working?
Yeah. Been working, travelling, and the boxing started back last few weeks as well. So I've been busy with that.
Good man. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. We've got Rocky. He wanted to get on camera, Rocky. Hey, is that what it is? Hey, never let the dog be bigger than the podcaster. That's my motto. What? You're doing me head in. Well, I think he's seen camera, hasn't he? Wants to be a superstar. I know you've been grafting today, and that's I don't want to keep you, but I know that you're unhappy with game at the moment, aren't you? Amateur and professional. Tell me what you're unhappy with, Mozza. Get it off your chest, your Uncle Porky.
I mean, where do we begin? I mean, I'll start firstly with recognition of these amateur trainers who make these people. That's the first thing we'll start with.
Yeah.
And I'm basically, Young Yafai's just won the gold medal, which is brilliant. I was coming home from work the other night about 9:30, and our friend Gareth A. Davis was interviewing him with Spencer Oliver.
Mate.
Yeah.
One of them right back of his good girl.
Yeah. Gareth A. Davis, who knows everyone. Yeah. And well, anyway,
I've just got off the phone to him. He's just sent me a text. Do you know he messaged me an hour ago? Yeah.
I know. Yeah. He knows everyone's. Every famous person's brother and son, I know. Yeah. But so he interviewed Yafai, and I was screaming at the interview, because they never mentioned Frank O'Sullivan not once, nor did them. I don't think they mentioned Birmingham City, which is the club. Now, I have talked on here about Frank before, and unapologetically, I'm going to talk again, because this guy, he made Robert McCracken. Robert McCracken was a Birmingham City boxer. He got him to silver medal in the Worlds, the first person in this country to get that qualification. He's trained all the Yafai boys. He's been running Birmingham City Boxing Club 6 days a week since 1956. Plus, this guy is really, really knowledgeable. Now, I also want to make the point, people don't want to get confused and think that amateur means that, you're just somebody doing it to help out, and professional means you're really good. Frank O'Sullivan is a world-class trainer. World-class trainer.
He did well for Robert, didn't he? He did well for Robert.
He got Robert McCracken, the first person in the country to a silver medal in the Worlds. Now, Robert McCracken's training Joshua. He's a millionaire. Okay, fair enough. But people like Frank O'Sullivan and Keith Scott, who used to be at the Link Club, who's running a little club called the Tree Estate in Dartford now, these people, I'm telling you, they won't go pro because they believe it's a dirty business. And of course, the pro game, Russ. But these people are extremely knowledgeable people. But it annoys me, the fact that we're not giving the recognition. Now, Frank got the MBE a couple of years ago, fair enough. The geezer should be knighted. He's trained countless ABA champions from scratch. He's trained all the Yafais, and he's been doing it since 1956, 6 days a week for nothing. And to be fair to you, Russ, you've mentioned on this channel before, some of these clubs, they don't get the funding, Russ. They have to, and as I say, and I'm really upset that, you see, if it was down to me, I'd be plugging this people like him all the time, because they've made these people. And this guy, old Frank, he's very knowledgeable. he learnt off an old pro who a lot of people probably don't know, called Ludabella. And Ludabella was a guy who actually boxed Barney Ross at the end of his career. And
That's
Frank
Barney
said,
Ross who Sylvester Stallone portrays himself as, isn't he, in Expendables?
yeah, Barney Ross, yeah.
4-weight world champion at once.
Yeah, Barney Ross. He was
going back to 30s, isn't it, or 40s?
Yeah, you are a long time. Now, Lud boxed him at the end of his career. Yeah. I think he got stopped, but Frank said, Frank maintains Lud had 11 eliminators for the world title and won 10 of them. But it was in a time where, with the politics and, you've got to be connected sometimes to get a shot.
Yeah.
But Frank said he learnt a lot off Luddy. Same with Keith Scott, as I say, he was at the Link Club and the Hollington, took kids from scratch and made them champions. And he wouldn't go pro because he said it's a dirty business. He had a guy called Frank Duffy who did go pro, who was at the Link Club, who again, he was highly regarded, Keith, highly regarded him as a trainer. And this is the other problem you've got nowadays. I don't know who the hell are some of these professional and amateur trainers, but there are gems out there, but they're not getting the recognition, Russ. Surely the fact that Frank has trained all the UFI guys, he's trained Robert McCracken, he's trained many ABA champions.
He trained this kid that just got a gold medal?
Yeah, it's his boy. All the UFIs, they're all Frank's lad.
Well, how come he never gets a mention then?
Well, this is what I'm saying, Russ. It's frustrating the hell out of me. I mean, Gareth A. Davis, he never mentioned it once. Now, the one person, to be fair, I mean, I've got his book here, but I haven't read it yet. The one person who has in the past mentioned him is Steve Bunce, right? I will say that. He has, this was years ago. He did mention Frank on the telly, yeah. And Buncey has mentioned the Frank and the club in his book, that big fat book of boxing. Okay. So fair play to Buncey for that. But these people, but Frank is a very, very knowledgeable guy. But people like him are special. But then see, and there's another issue, which I know Keith Scott's had this frustration. There's many coaches on the England squad, and some of them, I believe, some of them aren't all that good. And yet you look at all the brilliant amateur coaches there's been, and they've never been anywhere near the England squad. Frank did run the schoolboys for nothing for 9 years. He got a load of success. They got rid of him. They put a bloke instead of him on there on 40 grand a year who hasn't, and they haven't had the success that Frank's had. But the senior squad, it's like, it seems another little, like the border control, another little, your face has got to fit to get on.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying. But I would like to say this guy, Frank O'Sullivan, Birmingham City, he's had all the UFIs. He had Robert McCracken himself. He's had a lot of ABA champions. And this guy's been doing it since 1956 for nothing. And I think he should be knighted. I honestly do. When you look at the medals that they throw out to some people, I think somebody like him, and fun enough, I didn't tell him, but fun enough, I only spoke to him today, but I didn't mention that I was coming on here. I did ring him up today just to see how he was. But honestly, people like that, but he's a very knowledgeable guy, very, very knowledgeable boxing guy.
Yeah. I know you don't get on with boxing border control, but who was that guy who was suing him, that ex-ref, the black fella?
Yeah, Jeff Hines.
Is he still suing him?
It's, as far as I know, Rusty, I haven't heard of Jeff for a while, but Jeff Hines is suing the board for defamation of character. That's one of the things. Yeah, he's suing them for that, and he's suing them. I mean, basically, Jeff Hines, he's funny enough, Jeff's a magistrate in his spare time.
Oh my God, man, he'll be squeaking clean then, won't he? I hope he rinses them.
I do as well, but he's a very,
Robert Smith,
very...
fuck you.
Yeah, Robert Smith, yeah. 8 years ago, I went to a referees meeting, and I found the programme out the other day in a book I was reading, and I brought up to Robert Smith about it's wrong that the board don't allow referees to see their reports that are written on them about their performances. And bear in mind, Russ, they're written by people who aren't referees, and generally people who've never been in a boxing gym in their life, let alone in a ring. But they won't allow you to see the reports, and Robert Smith's done nothing about that. and that's going back many years ago. But Jeff is the most experienced referee in the country. Jeff Hines. He's refereed on more fights than any referee in the country. Yet they will not promote him to A-star. And I'll tell you, you look at the A-stars now. You cannot tell me that Jeff Hines isn't as good as these A-stars.
Yeah, he's a G, isn't he? That Jeff Hines. He's an OG.
Yeah, yeah. But you see, the thing with Jeff, like I do, Russ, if I'm refereeing and I'm refereeing you, and you've gone like when I used to box, I used to go with the trainer. I didn't take anyone with me, right? And if you're against someone who's got 10,000 people in the audience, and I think you've won, I'm raising your hands. Jeff Hines is like that.
Yeah.
You see, he's got integrity. You know, he's a good referee. And funny, Frank O'Sullivan years ago mentioned Jeff Hines was a good referee. So that's a very good guy to actually be supporting you. Yeah,
it is. You know, when I had Rico on, you know, he's got a really good job in City in London.
Yeah.
He was part of that team that did the Man City deal with Puma, £53 million. So Cabbage, and I take a lot of good advice off him. He helped me start channel as a really close friend.
Yeah.
Now, Rico, he knows all these computers and how to check stuff out and that. And he got it up on his computer that the board did over 18 grand a week for a year in expenses. They never paid themselves a salary, so it's a non-profit making organisation.
Yeah,
expenses. They don't have to pay tax on it. So, is this what we've got here? 18 grand a week going out on expenses for this. There's only a handful of them, isn't there, as well, isn't there?
There is incredible. Yeah, I'll reveal to you on here, Russ. Right?
Yeah, go on.
I'll reveal to you what now. There's two sorts of referees, Russ. There's A-star referees. You know our friend Terry O'Connor, those type of people. Yeah. Who go all over the world, who get all the title fights, all the world title fights, the British title fights, right? Now, who can judge as well, so they get double pay at a show, right? You've got those people in that's what you want to do. That's what I wanted to be. And then you've got the rest of the referees. Now, A-star referees are untouchable. Don't matter what they do, they're untouchable. They vote on who's going to be made up as an A-star referee, right?
Yeah. Well.
They all meet at Cardiff, right? Now, the rest of the referees, you get paid. I'll tell you what I got paid. And funny enough, I just finished reading who I know, Ian John Lewis's book, because I've had it for years and I haven't read it.
Ian John Lewis, the man that can stop an Intercity 125 train at 130 mile an hour.
I just, well...
Albert Trotter of boxing. He's the Albert of boxing. If Ian John Lewis got on a boat, an hour on a boat, I'd think it were going to sink. The guy is like the lookout guy on the Titanic, is he? He's like Captain fucking Pugwash, isn't he? How is he an A-star referee? I mean, what the fuck?
Well, you see, but you see, this is the point. Yet Jeff Hines, who's a class man and a class referee, isn't. You see, this is part of the arguments with, but anyway, basically, what the board pay you as a referee, it takes 2.5 years to get a license, right? So what they do, they send you to shows, no expenses. You don't get paid any expenses in that 2.5 years. You don't get paid any money. The first year, you just do scoring practice, right? So you score professional fights, but it doesn't count. The referee has to score them, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the first year. Now, from that, you go in the ring and they have you refereeing professional fights for nothing. They don't even have the courtesy to pay your expenses, right? Now, the Midlands area, which I'm in, I've refereed all over the country for the board, but generally you stay in your area. Now, the Midlands area goes as far as Newark, Nottingham, up to Cleethorpes, Lincolnshire. It's a massive area. And these clowns won't pay you a penny and bear in mind, 2.5 years is the minimum time it takes You see, now when you qualify, you think it's going to be great. You get paid basically, Russ, £100 to referee however many professional fights they tell you, and you get your expenses, which is 20 quid. You get 45p a mile. So generally, they'll keep you in your area unless you're going up to A-star, or and I refereed a fight once at Walsall Town Hall for Errol Johnson, the promoter.
Yeah.
And it was a little one of these little, I think, Midlands title fight things. And there was that mouthy idiot from Derby in the corner. I told him where to go. But basically, I was the only referee there. I refereed all the undercard, right? I got 20 quid expenses because I live at Wolverhampton, by Walsall, and I got paid.
You're happy with that, weren't you?
Oh yeah, but I got paid 80 quid. So that's it, you see. So the referees, who are lower down the A-stars, are not earning out of it. And bear in mind that 2.5 years where you're a trainee, they can keep that going for 3. They can keep that going as long as they want, Russ.
But why are they not changing these refs? It's the same old group of refs. Well, no import. What is it? A fucking new world order?
Well, you see, Russ, the way the board works is, as soon as you open your mouth and make a suggestion or stick up for yourself, your card's marked. You see, when I was a trainee, I phoned Les Potts up a number of times, and I had to go because of not seeing my reports. Now, if you had reports written on you, Russ, you'd want to see them, wouldn't you, mate?
Oh, he's ex-chief of police over here,
Yeah, I know. He's in the central area now. Now, Les Potts, he told me to my face, you carry on like this. He told me on the phone, rather, you carry on like this, and you'll get the rug pulled from under you, which is an old copper's expression for they'll stitch you up, they'll get rid of you. And that, but I mean, I left the board of my own accord with my head all day, because I knew my card was marked. I wasn't going any further.
Fucking Les Potts, man. See, it's the same old group of old fucking Freemason bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same old fucking group of old codgers.
Yeah.
Fucking backslapping, fucking old men who should be at home fucking watching Corrie with the missus.
Exactly, but it's
the sport.
But it's the culture, Russ. Most of them have never been in a boxing gym in their life, but they don't allow you to make suggestions.
Being at fucking bar, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Fucking bar, fucking good at that.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a promoter years ago who I got talking to. I haven't seen him for many years, and he left the board, and he had a run-in with Les because he run a charity show, and the Midlands Council were all given free table, free booze, free food. And what he did, he had a boxing ring there, and he had it was all for charity, and he had a mess about. I think he had a couple of people messing around in the ring, and blah. He had a comedian. No, Les was there. I think this was an old promoter. I can't think. He's left now. I can't think of his name off the top of my hand. He's up my way. Anyway, Les Potts.
Where's the fucking wig that Les Potts, that's a wig, mate.
Yeah.
Fucking proper toupee. Fucking big tash glasses on him, ex-chief of police up here. When I went for my seconds license, this guy come up to me, and he goes, "Oh, you've picked a rate day today, haven't you, Porky?" I goes, "Why?" He goes, "Les Potts is here." I goes, "You joking me?" I goes, "Oh, fucking, that's me there with Section 18 on me record for a copper." And Les Potts was on thing. When I walked in there, do you know what I felt like?
Yeah.
I felt like going in front of prison governor, for a fucking failing a dope test. And,
yeah.
Easier.
Yeah.
Or, something petty, when you're on basic regime in prison, you're going in front of him, you're thinking, fucking, I'm out in 3 months. Last thing I need here, an extra few week on top. Just as you come into end, because you always think your sentence is never going to fucking end anyway. When you've got a week to go and you've been in years, you're like, I've done it, I've broke it. And then you're like, well, fucking have
yeah.
Fucking here. And you're thinking, oh, God, extra days here. So you're in front of them and they're there. Fucking table. It's right intimidating, isn't it? It's like going in front of headmaster, isn't it, at school? That kind of.
Oh, I know.
You've got your fucking life in your hands, these cons.
Yeah, but the point is, most of them, they're not boxing people. but they won't listen to suggestions.
If
That's
they
the
listen
problem.
to fucking expense sheets, don't you? Fucking mofos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. This is it. But this show that the Midlands Council went to years ago, they had all the free food and booze, and then they phoned up the promoter the next day and they told him, you're going to get fined for running this charity event that they'd gone to, £1,000, and he told them to F off, and he left the board. He left, professional boxing. I can't think of the guy's name. I'll have a think afterwards, and I'll let you know.
All right, Mozza, they've got to resign. I'm calling for the full boxing board of control to resign. And if anybody can get behind me, I can do it proper. Billboards, the lot. Anybody wants to get behind me with this, you get behind me, but I'm not funding it on my own. I've done enough.
Yeah.
Get behind me. We're going to ruin these motherfuckers.
Yep.
Want change. Oh. Nobody fucking dares say it because they all need them, don't they? This is the power they've got over everybody. Nobody's saying fuck all. They all hate them. Fucking all promoters and managers.
Everybody hates them.
You know when they walk in at shows?
Yeah.
And they come into dressing rooms and that. Do you know when they walk out, people are like, they fucking want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Poncing cunts.
They're vile. A lot of them are vile people, and the nice people there have got no power, Russ. They're not pulling the strings.
Oh man, they're all fucking old fuddy-duddies, mate. They should be in a British Legion somewhere drinking stout.
Yeah, but my problem is, Russ, I told them all to their face when I was with the board, when I got a board license. I told them all of this.
Tell them, mate. It's the only thing I tell them. I point a camera at the cunts when I see them. That's Charlie Giles.
Yeah, here's another one then, Russ. 8 years ago.
Camera. What?
Oh, Giles, yeah, I think he was a butcher. 8 years ago.
Come down your way, that cunt.
Yeah, Giles, yeah.
Come down your way. Wolverhampton area.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 8 years ago, I brought up about a referee should have the option to wear gloves when he's refereeing if he wants to. And Richard Vaughan told me, you can't wear gloves. People will say, who do you think you are? So I told Dave Rode, and he's passed away now. He said, procedure, I'll bring it up. They've still done jack about it. They haven't done nothing about it.
Shit, mate. They don't do shit, and everybody knows it. They don't run fuck all, mate. Listen, promoters run boxing now in UK. Board are just told what. So they're just tools, mate.
Yeah.
They're happy to get a few hotels, few free meals, few free beers, bit of travel. That's what they want, and a few quid in the pocket. Bent 9 bob notes, allegedly. We want change. I know you from board. I know you're watching. I've got all your fucking attention, Anna. Get ready. Because I've got all sorts of cards up my sleeve, what I'm capable of when I put my mind to anything. So get ready.
Exactly right. They're vile people.
Listen, mate, they've been getting away with it for years. You know, first time I were unhappy with boxing. I'm not going to say what show it was. There was something with scales and that. I sat and watched them. And this kid was still over, and he fucking turned a blind eye, this fucking border control guy.
Yeah.
What I'm on about. And I won't bother because it were our guy anyway at the time when I was working with a certain promoter. And I thought, fucking hell, eh? Unbelievable. And other kid didn't have other kids' team weren't, I wouldn't say they were as clued up. This is why they all got to stand watching people wrapping their hands. You got to watch everybody because people are not bothered. They want to cheat. That was first time, and I thought, fucking hell. That was first time I had like a little, it was something, I'm last person to go on about stuff like that, but it was first time, and I felt let down by boxing. And then obviously, pattern, isn't there? And I thought, God, you can bend it here it depends who you are. That was first time that. If that had been a world title fight, there'd have been hell on one, nobody would have got away with it, because it was other end of the scale. Title fight, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Me fuck all. That's the first time I thought. People might say, you're speaking out. I thought, I'm not fucking speaking out. I want them gone. I want proper people. I want it to run like football and rugby and cricket. Be a 10 times better sport. but they just seem to just seem to be the same old people in charge, same families, Kings, Arams, Warrens, Earns. It needs change, or it needs new people to come in. Keep all these people in, all these promoters who've been at it years, and all the families. We'll get proper people to govern the sport.
That's what you want.
But nobody's going to speak out, only me. And you know what my feelings about fucking stuff, people and people who want to chat shit. Fuck off. That's it. Don't fucking bothers me. But, and you know, in years to come, they'll thank me for speaking out and saying that we need to change. Kids are getting punched in the head. Kids are getting punched in the head. People are failing drug tests.
Yeah.
2-year bans. Free lots of drug tests. Other people, free drug issues. Other people, 1 drug test, recreational drug, 4-year ban.
Yeah.
Would that happen in football? Would somebody who plays for, I don't know, a shit team, Bury? Would somebody who plays for Bury get a 4-year ban, but yeah, somebody who's in Premier League get a 2-year ban, but he's got 3 charges? There would be uproar in football for that, wouldn't there? Who's best player in Premier League? Say Mo Salah got a 2-year ban, yeah? Mo Salah got 3 charges. And say somebody who plays for Wycombe Wanderers, Fred Blow, the flying right winger, tearing down the wing, and he's got 1 charge. He's had a bit of Charlie, and he gets 4 years for 1 charge. Other geezers getting 2 years for 3 charges. Fred Blow would be doing his nut, wouldn't he, at Mo Salah? Or Carlos Kickabout, whatever you want to call him, some big superstar from abroad. It wouldn't be right, would it? So why should boxing fans have to put up with that? There's no consistency, is there? It's not a governed sport. It needs governing from the top. And if I don't, nobody else is going to do, are they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've told them it all. You're right, Russ. You know, the trouble is, it's people governing things for their own ego and their own benefit, not for the good of the sport. Not
come in my company with their egos, that border control. The shivering cunts, mate. Shivering freeloaders. They want driving about, feeding, watering, putting out hotels, trains, planes, free gratis.
Yeah.
That's what these fuckers want, free gratis, mate. And it's got somebody's got all of them. It's rotten from inside. It's got to be sorted.
It does.
50 years from now, people will be saying brilliant. But that's why it could take. I'll be long gone then. I'll be lucky to see 70 me. Another 19 years, I'll be happy if I get to 70. But point I want to make is something's got to happen, because kids are getting punched in the head. There's kids winning world titles who couldn't win British titles. There's British champions who could win world titles, but they're not getting the opportunity, or not getting as many as other people have been getting. Something's got to give, because it's sinking in front of our eyes. I've got statistics that backs it all up, which we're going to reveal soon. So when the time's right, that's another ace up my sleeve. You know what I mean? There's going to be some people like that when I pull them out. They're all going to be on their fucking knees, because I'm going to get them all lined up, and I'm going to say, right, Robert Smith, what would you say your score is that you would give yourself out of 10 for what you've done in the last 5 years in the British Boxing Board of Control? What's your mark out of 10, Robert Smith? You can't ask these people that, because if he said to me a 10, I'd say bump, 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 bump. And if he said, oh, well, a 6 could do better if tried, I said, well, if somebody were cleaning your house or plastering your bedroom and they were doing work for you at a 6 out of 10, would you sack them? He'd go, yeah. I go, well, there you fucking go. You just give yourself a 6. So either way, they don't want to answer the question, because I nail them either way. You see where I'm going?
I do. We've got all the facts on them, Russ. Here's another example. Peter McCann, right? 30 years, a world-class timekeeper with the board. He's now working on the unlicensed circuit, right, with me, because his brother, who was the Southern Area champion, right, he died And as you know, the traditional thing we do in boxing is ring the bell for 10 salutes, don't we? 10 bells for,
we do,
for
yeah.
a dead,
Of course we do, yeah.
right? Well, he did that for his brother. Now, bear in mind, Russ, his brother was Southern Area champion. He was an ex-boxer. Now, Pete McCann had rung the bell for Robert Smith's father, I think it was, and for Charlie Giles' relation when they died. And guess what
Charlie
happened?
Giles' relation?
Years ago, apparently. But nothing was said. He rung the bell for his dead brother, who was ex-Southern Area champion, and he got pulled up by the Southern Area Council, and they tried to discipline him, and he resigned on the spot. This is how disgusting these people are. These
Robert Smith, Charlie Giles, come see me, you shithousers.
Yeah. Ask him. Virtually, you see, I listen, Talk Sport, Robert Smith, they think he's wonderful. The only reason that the medical stuff is good in board boxing is because Mike Watson sued them and won. And he bankrupted them. That's why they're in a
looking for a mill, didn't he?
Yeah, that's
they
why.
To sell building, didn't they, and move to Cardiff?
They're in 14 North Road, a 70-detached
house. They're in a prefab in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And these are the same people that are running place. It's a bit like government, isn't it? You know, 30 years ago, right, this week, there's 37,000 in prison. Now there's 102,000. So something's not working, in it. So if you got Tories and Labour in a room and you said, right, what would you give yourselves out of 10 for running prison service? And they go, whatever they said, you could nail them, couldn't you? Because if 65,000 people extra is in prison 30 years later, that's an increase of 2,000 people per year, isn't it? 40 people a week increase of people coming into prison. 40 people every week, but every week. Now that 40 people have got to be paid for, aren't they? Whatever expense of it, and all lawyers and all that. It's all on the tax bill, isn't it? So something, whatever policies they've got going, they're not working, are they? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Like with border control, it ain't working. They're not moving with time.
It is the facts on the board that they cannot deny. They write secret reports on the referees, and they don't allow the referees to see them. They don't want them to see them. They make referees have blood tests, but no one else has to. Cornermen, nothing. They don't have to. They're the only organisation in the world that I know of that don't allow referees to wear gloves if they want to, protective gloves when they're refereeing. Even with COVID.
They do in America, don't they?
Yeah, because you see, in America, you're covered under their jurisdiction. You'd be covered like with the WBC, the WBA. But you look, Russ, you know, with this COVID malarkey, they don't wear bow ties in Britain, the border control referees. They're wearing masks, which, you know, they don't work anyway, the research tells you, but that's another argument. But they still won't allow them to wear gloves. They're covered like a badge of honour in blood, their shirts. They're in shirt sleeve shorts. They're not wearing gloves. And I'll tell you why, because the board, they know they're not allowed to. The board won't write it down. Oh, no, but every referee knows that they're not allowed to wear gloves, right? But why? Why can't you wear gloves if you want to? Doesn't it make sense?
And you're supposed to wear them anyway, for in case you get other people's blood in your pores.
Exactly. But the board expect you, if as a professional referee, if a boxer's knocked out, they expect you to get on the canvas and take his gum shield out of his mouth. But they won't allow you to wear gloves. And if I'm wrong, you ask your viewers, Russ, to go through the last, not 5, 10, 50, go through the last 20 years of DVDs of Sky, and you tell me how many times you find a professional referee wearing a pair of gloves.
Well, I think, and don't quote me on this, but do you remember that? Is it Earl Brown? Him who refereed Frotch Booty?
Yeah.
I think he might have had gloves on because I were inside, but don't quote.
Yeah, because he was an American referee. But what I'm saying is the boxing board of control referees, they know they're not allowed to, right? Same as they make you have blood tests every year and pay for them yourself. My mate, Rob Chalmers, he's finished with the board long ago as well. you know, good lad. It cost him £200 to have his blood test privately done. The board won't pay that. Yet the cup man, who, and you can see some of them aren't wearing gloves half the time anyway.
Just let dog out, 2 seconds.
Go on, mate.
Go on, Scoot. Yeah, go on.
Yet the referee's got to have medical and blood tests, but the cup man, they don't have to. There's loads of things, you know, contradictions with the boxing board of control. You know, they're just a shocking organisation. You know, and you're not allowed to speak. You really are not allowed to speak. I went to a conference some years ago for referees with the board, and I put my hand up. There was only me and Jeff Hines who spoke, really, and a guy from Wales who wanted more work. But nobody will speak, because as soon as you speak, you're finished. But me and Jeff knew our carbon marks, so we don't care. Yeah. And I had a go with Robert about not seeing reports, and he come out with some crap about, well, people phone up people and moan and all this crap. And then he said I could cancel who's written the reports, hide that, which he could have done. But 8 years later, they're still not doing nothing about it. But I come back from there and I got called up to the Midlands Council, right? And I got had by that dickhead Richard Vaughan, and he said, I can't believe you mentioned that at the referee seminar. And I said to him to their faces, do you know anywhere in the world where you're not allowed to see your own bloody reports? They're absolute scumbags.
Scumbags is not the word, mate, is it?
Yeah, it ain't. But there's loads of examples. I mean, I was offered, here's one for you. I was offered an unlicensed fight by an A-star referee when I was with the board. I was offered an unlicensed fight, and the same geezer won't be seen near anyone who's on the unlicensed circuit. But yeah, but if I'd have done that fight, I'd have been finished. You know, I do wonder now whether it was a setup because they were trying to get rid of me. And when I come back from that conference, Robert Chalmers, he's on BoxRec, ex-professional referee, good guy. He got told by a member of the Midlands Council that after Gareth after I'd said about wanting to see my reports, things are going to count against Gareth now, I think, instead of in favour of him. And then from that, they did. They tried to fine me £100 when I stopped a lad to stitch me up. And do you know what I did, Russ? I sent £100 Monopoly money to that dickhead Richard Vaughan.
Yeah.
Because as soon as everyone on the board knows it, Russ, I mean, I can hold my head high because I'm mouthing off now with facts, but I mouthed off to the board when I had a board license, right? I don't care because right is right, yeah? But as soon as you stick up for yourself or make a suggestion like I did about gloves and about seeing your reports, you finish, Russ. They are horrible people.
Yeah. Yeah, border control. Fuck off out of sport. Get out of Dodge.
Yeah. Here.
Whatever money you've had, consider it severance pay. Take the train. Go now while you still can.
Here.
I want them gone, mate, out of sport, mate. They're old codgers shuffling about. Fucking, it needs a look at. You know what? I keep looking at this Dana White stuff on telly.
Yeah.
I'm itching to like get into that sport and study it from the beginning, but I feel like I'd be having an affair, you know, behind boxing's back or something. I don't know, man. Can't bring me. It's like, because you know, boxing when it's right. You know, like I don't like to say this all the time because people always go, "Oh, Porky," you always go on about that, but it's the guy I follow most, isn't it? When I used to go to a fight with my mates, their arms used to be up on our arms in Nottingham, going around Nottingham for a drink, and everybody be buzzing and looking forward to fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel I've got that in my life now. I don't see a fighter that I want to get behind. But obviously, we're gonna get on board with Chris Smedley's gym, and he's got a kid that says really special, and that's exciting. But that's way from like he's miles from. He's a couple of years from turning pro probably. But when Frotch used to fight, I used to be like, my arms were up. And I'd be like that, having it in Nottingham, and it was brilliant. And I just don't. Tell me a fighter now in the UK that excites you. Yeah, Josh Taylor's brilliant, mate, and that. But, you know, they're gonna milk that with him, aren't we? I want to see him in a proper fight next, even though he's had proper fights. I want to see him in with Crawford, but I also want to see somebody come through that excites me. Conor Benn is manufactured. Conor Benn's manufactured. I want to see somebody that John Edges. I thought he might do it for me, but he hasn't done it. He hasn't. You know what I mean? Tank Davis does it for me, but he's an American, and I've never seen him fight live. Something that gets in there and something that's got a bit of spite. Carl Froch had a bit of swagger. He had that. He was arrogant, and you get in a position where you don't know what to say to him. You know what I mean? When he were in that zone, he had that bit of swagger, bit of hype around him, but that bit of cut you short in an interview kind of thing, or it's a bit dry, and that appealed to me. That appealed to me. I'll tell you a story. Forgot his name now. I forgot his name. Damon Haig. Do you remember Damon Haig?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He fought British, didn't he, in round one? British defence at Commonwealth and British. Put him into orbit, mate. Put him into orbit. And after this, they said they were on about him about Calzaghe because they were pushing for rank mandatory, wasn't he? And he said, well, if he wants to fight me, you better train hard because you've just seen what'll happen. Go and get that on YouTube. I was there when that was said. That for me. Well, I don't know. No fighters get me. Ricky Hatton didn't for me. No, Ricky Hatton didn't for me. I went to see Ricky Hatton fight. I went to see Nazim did.
Yeah.
Nigel Benn. You know what I mean? They did. But tell me what others would you say? I didn't go to all Clinton Woods fights, so I can't say that about Clinton or Robin Reed. But because they never had that personality outside at ring like the others did they? Nigel Benn and Froch. You know, they're all different personalities, but that appeal, didn't they? Where's this next star coming from? David A did it for me as well. Put David A in with them, can't you? Before obviously his body all broke up and all that, didn't he?
Yeah.
And him at Froch were stars, weren't they, from 2001 World Championships, medalists, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, was it David A trained by a very good trainer in the amateurs at the Fitzroy Lodge?
Maybe they were
passed away.
You know, when he were a cruiserweight, he was 13 stone 8. Then he had huge power, didn't he? He'd have you on edge of your feet. Do you remember when he won European title, or heavyweight title, European heavyweight title? And he put that kid bloke to sleep. He spat on him, didn't he, at Wayne? David put him to keep him round one, didn't he? Sure. Yeah. Go check that. I forgot the guy's name. David A then was really explosive. He hadn't done a lot of rounds, you know. If you go check his career, he's not done loads of rounds.
No.
And his body's not held up to it all, has it? Whereas Froch, different sort of style. Could do 12 rounds all day, could do 20 rounds. Finishes like a steam train, but can bang as well. But David took him out early, didn't he? But where's this next somebody that's going to go us on edge of a seat? Where?
Yeah, and you see, the worrying thing is as well. He's like I mentioned on a previous chat with you, Russ, about the trainers, about having proper trainers who know what they're doing, you know, and like with that book, The Arc of Boxing, it says about the decline in boxing trainers. We've got a lot of strength and conditioning people in now.
Oh,
that is not boxing.
Don't start me with any people, mate. Ponces.
That is not boxing.
If they were any fucking good, they'd be in football industry.
Yeah, you see.
I've been around boxing industry for a few crumbs. If you were any good, you strength and conditioner, you'd be in football industry, wouldn't you? Any proper dough. Because all jobs in football industry are took, aren't they, with strength conditioners? They're all took, the jobs. These are what football industry don't want. They're into boxing, aren't they? Because boxers are easy to manipulate. I think everybody's the pal, don't they? I don't see any of these strength and conditioning men hovering around novices or area level men, do you? They all want to hover around the champs, don't they? British upwards. That's my opinion on it. I've got a problem. You welcome on fucking Zoom, any on yours. But a boxer only needs a trainer, in my opinion. Trainer can do everything. Tell you when to go to bed, tell you when to eat, tell you when to lift weights, and tell you when to train boxing bags, pads, and spar and all that. What they do. A trainer knows all that. So why are they bringing all these people in with fucking spreadsheets and all that? Knackers. Get them out, train. Get them out of Dodge. Send them out. Send them away. Send them packing, all you boxers. You don't need these sponsors in your life. Jesus. Going into your head with spreadsheets. Seeing, oh, you done better today because we did this with you. That boxer's thinking, oh, I'm getting better. I'm getting a mental edge. Are you sick? Did you see Calzaghe with one? Did you see Frotch with one? Hey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ricky Hatton brought him on board. Didn't it? Look what happened. He got iced.
Yeah.
Knackers.
Yeah.
Knackers. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Did you see Frank Bruno with one? No. Did Mike Tyson have one? No.
Yeah.
Look at that. What's that say there?
Edinburgh. Yeah.
There you go. Unbelievable. Somebody pissed up at the pub again.
Nice place.
Like, well, listen, fuck off, wanker. You know what I mean? That's what. Listen, mate, it's unbelievable. But no, boxing's got to change from within, and that means border control. They've got to go, or they've got to get new people in.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
And then they've set the rules for the promoters to stick to, and all this mandatory rematches and all that with sanctioning bodies around the world. It's all got to stop. What's the point in fighters getting to position a number one ranked and having the mandatory slot, which comes around, what is it, every 9 months? And then the promoter of the champion saying, yeah, but if you win, you've got to have a rematch with us.
Yeah.
So they get 2 bites at cherry. So whatever happened to you lose your belt, you go back to the beginning, to outside the top 15, and you've got to break back in and work your way back. What about that? Why are sanctioning bodies allowing these people to do that? They should say no, that can't happen. So it's going to need President Biden to get in with these IBF, because they're American based, aren't they? He'll have to go through Congress, and there's all sorts of nations and knackers, isn't there? WBA, Gilberto Mendoza, where's that? That's not Mexico, that's WBC. WBA, is it Puerto Rico? I'm not sure. One is it? What's the WBO then? Where are they based at?
I'm not sure where they're based, Russ.
Well, either way, none of them are based in UK. Whatever happens, you just winning British title and then going for a world title, and we have all this trinket stuff, because you've got all these trinket belts. You've got to deal with all these sanctioning bodies on a daily basis, so they build a relationship up, and then they get them checks coming in or cash transfers, and they're thinking, this is all right. We'll invent an interim belt. Oh, this is great. We'll invent a gold belt, a silver belt, an international silver. And before you know where you are, they've got all these belts, and people who would like be ranked about 15 in Britain and 20 in Britain. They're fighting for a WBA international, and they get that, and they get a world ranking. But they're not really world ranked and world level, are they? Because they've missed all the levels. So what's happening is they're going to get found out, but they'll pinch a few quid on way, and promoter will get a few quid out of them because they've got a bit of a following on Twitter and Twitter.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, somebody's going to get hurt. But what he's done, especially since 2017, it's watered its end down now. And that year we're 2022. That's 7, 8 years since Frotch Groves rematch at Wembley, since all these trinket belts have come in. Soon it'll be a decade with these trinket belts, and then what? Can we compare it then to 2014 when we get to 2024? But what would happen in 2034 if the shit's gone that bad? And it's going on and on and on. Will it get to the stage where fucking taxi driver over the road, that bus driver down here, have got a bit of beef, or they can get a license from board? They're going to get at it. Nobody knows them, but they've got big followings on Twitter. He's got 100,000 following a bloke down here, bus driver is, but there's beef. Yes, where we're heading, because going back to 2014, when everybody was saying it was great and all that, what's changed? A lot's changed. So a lot's changed. That's just my opinion. Where's the sport going to be in 10 years from now? Because look where it's coming last time. Okay, listen to this. Eddie Hearn burst on the scene, didn't he? We Kel Brook, Darren Barker, Audley Harrison, and Carl Froch. Yeah, what was it?
Yeah.
2011. Right. So Eddie Hearn's burst on the scene. Yeah. It's 2021 now. He's 10 years up. So he's lost Sky. He's not with Sky. He's with DAZN. He's already done all they're doing, overpaying everybody. But why should he be bothered if he's overpaying all these fighters? He's on a cut anyway, 20% whatever he's on. So Eddie Hearn's, in his 10 year, he's achieved a lot, but he's on slide now. Joshua's coming to end, isn't he? Where's his next Joshua? He ain't got a Joshua, has he? So what's he trying to do? Is he going to invent stuff? Is he like inventing Conor Benn as this welterweight fucking Ray Leonard? The fuck out of here. Eh? And best thing about it is your Tony Bellews, your Dave Caldwells, your Chris Lloyd, your Darren Barkers, they all know this. But they're all intertwined with it. Barker were trained by Sims. He's matchroom head trainer and he's employed by DAZN. They're not going to send out. But I know for a fact that all these people getting it that behind the scenes, they all speak like me. But they're not going to come out and say, are they? Isn't that right, Darren Barker? Yeah, you fucking know. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, Porky 2 cans of Stella. I must be slipping. Treat for me, innit? Oh, what do you expect? All videos I've knocked out today and what I've got on over next. Now at next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what I've got lined up for all you viewers on here, members area. You're going to be treated the next few days, and obviously there's a couple of other things in pipeline that's going to make people go, God, he is really serious. So get ready. It's going to be a good ride for you all up to Sunday at 6 p.m. That'll probably finish about 7, that one, because we can't be going into asylum because you have to show respect, don't you, to your peers? Isn't that right, Mozza?
Yeah, that's it.
So what do you do in your spare time then, Moz, besides go to work and whatever?
Yeah, I love to train and fitness. I love to read. I read a lot. As I say, I see my boy a lot. He's 10. I was only talking to Frankie O'Sullivan today, fun enough, on the phone, because at one point I was getting over and doing a bit of pad work for him at the gym. So I'd like to get back and do that. But it's, even though he's Birmingham, it's quite a jaunt to get over there from Wolverhampton. It's a pain of a journey. And like with work and everything at the moment, I've been busy, but I've got a lot of interests. You know, I used to do a lot of taekwondo. I love that as well. But yeah, so I've got a lot of interests and stuff. But it's just finding the time with work and everything and whatnot. And of course, I referee a lot now in my spare time. I referee. I'm on the. It's sorry.
Amateur or white collar?
No, I do the white collar now. I used to do the Queensbury, but that's stopped at the moment. It's on Eurosport with Alan Minter's son, Ross Minter.
He's a nice kid.
Yeah, he is, but he's come away from it now. He's stopped it now, Ross.
Has he?
Yeah, he's finished it. So I don't know whether Alan will carry that on. But
Mark Tibbs him, Ross.
Yeah.
Very good mate.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Yeah, right. But I had an interesting call the other day off, funny enough, off a guy called Bruce Baker, who used to be with the Border Control, and Bruce sued the board as well. He sued them years ago as well, and Bruce is he got involved with obviously the unlicensed scene, I think, or actually he was with the German professional scene. Actually, I don't know whether, but he's been on some of the Queensbury shows, and I used to do some reffing for him, but he's trying to set up now. In fact, he's got a show at the Circus Tavern on the 11th, where he's trying to get some of these. I think it's all this blooming internet blooming lot and people like that boxing, you know. So he asked me if I can referee, but I think I've got a show that night. So, but Bruce is another one who sued the board. So Yeah, I've got a lot of interest, but I constantly have to expose the board. As you say, everyone hates them. But I've got an interesting anecdote to tell you.
Fuck you, the board. Fuck you. And Gareth A. Davis, prick. Have you seen that Gareth A. Davis when he does that when he's with a ring card girl?
Yeah.
You fucking prick.
Yeah, Gareth A. Davis. Yeah. I don't know where all these people have come from. I've been in boxing a long time.
Rise of the Gods. Have you seen him in Ring Magazine spread? What other sport would you get Gareth A. Davis doing that fucker in the main magazine for the sport? Would you get what's main magazine for football? 442, whatever.
Yeah.
Would you get some fucking freak weirdo turning up, hovering around football, getting it that fucker centre spread? What the fucking hell has happened to this sport?
I know.
Bert Sugar here, he'd be Bert Sugar's turning in his grave, mate.
It is, and like I say, there's people involved in the sport who on the training side who I wouldn't employ. And there's a lot of ego, and what you find is, funny enough, the arrogant people, the people with the biggest ego, are the people who haven't got a clue. That's what you find as well. You find it in boxing and with the border control. But there's a story I'd like to tell, Russ. There's another trainer I've mentioned on here called Keith Scott, who he's in his 70s. He trained Danny Costello from a kid to 3 ABA titles, and he trained the Langley brothers, Stuart and Darren, and to numerous titles and stuff. And he's another guy. He wouldn't go pro because he says it's a dirty business, but he's another brilliant trainer. Anyway, he was at the Link Club years ago as the trainer. Now the Link Club where I used to go is in Peckham. It's Wells Way in Peckham, and it's the oldest amateur club in the country. Now it was a very, very prestigious club years ago. A very, very good club, the Lin. Now there was a boxer there called Adrian Dobson who went professional.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's a coward. He was a talented lad, and he was called Adrian Carew in the amateurs. Now he used to take advantage of people sparring, which is another thing that pisses me off. You know, I'd like to say all this nonsense about having hard spars. I've heard all this crap over the years. A proper boxing trainer will be practicing technique in sparring. There is no point having 10-round wars in sparring because you're not learning. So I'd just like to get that point out the way straight away. Keith Scott,
Kraken used to let Frotch have wars in sparring then.
Yeah, but you see, it doesn't help you. You should practice, because the point is, you think about it logically. If you can't slip a jab at half speed, you ain't going to slip it at full speed. And people like Keithy Scott and Frank O'Sullivan, they'll do. Boxing's a very technical sport, but you see, it's no good just having wars. You should do a lot of technical sparring. Keith used to do, I think, for every open spar, as they call it, you know, where more realistic. He used to do 4 technique spars. But anyway, this guy Adrian Dobson, he was called Carew, used to knock people around in sparring, which is the wrong thing to do, taking advantage of people, because he was a talented lad. So Keith put him in with I think with Chris Oko, and of course he told him the score, and Oko hit him back, didn't he? And Dobson didn't like this because, like I say, he's a talented coward. So he ends up going mad and having a row, and he throws a punch at Keith. And Keith, I think, blocked it and kicked him out the club. But Russ, as soon as you hit the trainer, you're gone, aren't you? Right?
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, you're gone. Yeah.
Now, this was a long time ago, like I say. But anyway, the Link Club, to their shame, they backed up Adrian Dobson because everyone thought he was going to win a gold medal in the Olympics, and he won Sweet FA. So Keith left on principle. He never went back, and bear in mind that must have hurt him to leave the Link Club. He'd been there years, and he went to the Hollington in Camberwell, and with old Barry Francis, the old light heavy, and Keith trained him. And as I say, he trained Danny Costello from a kid, 3 ABA titles, the Langley brothers. In fact, Keith I think at the Lynn for a year as a boxer, he had that trainer you go on about, Adam Booth.
Adam Booth, go to Adam Booth, the Dark Lord. He's the best.
Yeah, he had him. But anyway,
Adam
they,
Bull.
they
Oh,
thi-
Adam
thi-
Bull, actually, he's a nice fella.
I saw him at Queensbury once, had a quick word with him. But the point is, Keith should have been backed up and he should have been gone. Anyway, Adrian Carew changed his name to Adrian Dobson. He went professional and he was in a fight with a guy called Bonamy, I think, a Canadian, from what I could see, he's what I'd call one of these tough guy, just up and down boxers, just a tough fit man, right? Anyway,
Well, you'd have to
he
be
was
a bit
obviously
boxer, wouldn't you, Mozza?
you have, but what I'm saying is he wasn't one of the people with, massive speed, massive reach, the what I call people with advantages, Russ, with talent, right? you know,
People with
and
advantages.
it's a lot easier when you're quick, flexible, and you've got long arms in a boxing ring, I can tell you. But anyway.
You're talking about it like you've been watching a fucking porno.
Anyway, he went professional, Dobson, and he boxed this Bonamy, and it got to the 10th round, I think. And because he couldn't get rid of him, because his talent hadn't stopped Bonamy, because he was determined. Do you know what he did? This Dobson, he bit Bonamy, he bit him on the shoulder. He got disqualified, kicked out for it. And funny enough, when I was with the board, I think he tried to get his license back, because I did say to somebody, I did tell him what he was actually like. But Keith should have been backed up there. But Keith Scott now, brilliant trainer, trained by Frank Duffett, who was a very, very good trainer. He went professional from the Lim, Frank Duffett did. But Keith now runs a little club just with juniors, I think he's got, called the Tree Estate Club in Dartford. But these people, they're out there, these gems. But it's amazing. People don't know about them. But these people have devoted their life to boxing, but they're very knowledgeable people. Yet you can get some professional trainers. I mean, I can think of one in particular who they've got big mouths, but they haven't got a clue.
Yeah. You were going on about that guy. Sorry, you were going on about how you don't like trainers to let people spar hard and stuff like that, weren't you? But
not constantly, Russ. They shouldn't constantly, because all this hard sparring all the time, they're not learning. Boxing's a very technical sport.
Yeah, Ingle Gym, they only do body sparring there, don't
yeah. Exactly. And you look at Brendan Ingle, the people he's produced, Russ.
Yeah, but what about McCracken then? Frotch used to spar Bellew, who were coming in at 15 stone. Frotch there 12 stone, 3 inch shorter in height and 3 stone. So 3 and 3, yeah. They used to have wars. Who else? Edwin Rodriguez coming over, big 200-pound guy who were fighting at 168, 175. Bob Ashley safe at 175.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who fought BBB, didn't he? Serbia, whatever you want to call him. Frotch used to have wars with them, and he was a lot smaller than them.
Yeah, but you see, that's all. But the thing is, he should be doing technical work as well, because that's how you learn. As Keith Scott used to say, that's how you groove a skill. And in fact, I saw an interview on YouTube a while ago of the late Angelo Dundee, and he was saying exactly the same thing. And years ago, I remember an article, I think in the Ring magazine. I'm going back decades and decades ago, and I think it was about this very subject. And the guy had said, I think this used to go on a lot in the Cronk gym, I think it was. And the guy who wrote the article reckoned for as many champions as they made, they destroyed a lot of people as well doing that kind of thing. Listen, you've got to. Boxing's a skill. Boxing's not a fight. People have got to get this out of their head. And the best way to get it out of your head, if you think it is to try and box. Boxing is an art, it's a skill. And you do have a lot of advantages if you're flexible with long arms and good feet, because boxing's all about the feet. And you've got to practice those things. And it's a big mistake just to do hard sparring all the time without practicing the technical aspect, because boxing's a very, very technical sport, right?
This is what I tell people all the time, because Peter Fury used to put Tyson and Huey.
Yeah.
That many drills, it's unbelievable. Footwork.
Yeah.
Footwork. Yeah. Peter Fury's a footwork master. Now, Tyson has never been dropped with Peter in his corner. Yeah, he got dropped against Cunningham, but Peter would have been playing home because he didn't have a ring. Right. Huey's never been dropped in ring. So there must be something in that that Peter said
Yeah,
regarding footwork. I spoke to Robin Reed about this for ages, and he agrees with me that footwork is very, very, very important, because you can set your shots up and you can set yourself up in a position where you can avoid a shot and you're already there to just throw one back, but your feet are positioned. So
exactly right.
you don't have to
You're
move
right,
your
Russ.
feet. It's that another fraction of a second. It's all timing, and it's the look. It's like being a fighter pilot, isn't it? You come in,
Yeah,
do your work, and then you get out. Why should you want to take any punishment? Fighter plane, jet fighter pilots, they don't want any bullets hitting them, do they? Or hitting petrol tank. So they want to do their work and go. That's how boxers should be. But some boxers haven't got the skill level. So they have to bow in, don't they, and take if you want way in.
I
prefer that style anyway. I know that's hard.
Well, you see, I mean, I love the underdog, but you see, I mean, here's a good old example of Rocky Marciano. Now, I remember when Mike Tyson was heavyweight champion, and he was doing a few interviews about boxing, and when you can get him to a calm moment, he can talk some sense. And he said about Marciano, he didn't take. I mean, he was a hard man, Marciano, and a tough man. Yeah. And he was at a time. And he could hit. Don Turner, the old trainer who trained Holyfield, a very good very knowledgeable guy. He reckoned Marciano was the hardest hitting heavyweight, and he was in the gym with Marciano, I think, at the same time, right? Now, but the thing is, Tyson said Marciano didn't take as many shots as you think. Now, and this is what I'm saying about the old school skills. Marciano had Charlie Goldman in his corner. Charlie Goldman had over 400 fights, I believe, as a boxer. But the technical aspect, Charlie Goldman, because Marciano had massive disadvantages, height, thick legs. I know what all this is like, short arms, but he could hit. But Charlie Goldman got him to be shorter, right, to make it more difficult. And if you watch Marciano box, I've mentioned it before, I think, about the cross arm defense. I've never known them teach that in the amateurs. But
Ken Norton had a cross arm defense.
Brilliant, yeah.
I've seen Peter Fury teach you with that, so you're wrong there. I've seen Peter teach you with that.
Yeah, no, I say, not in the pro. I've never seen it in the amateurs when I used to box, Rust.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, and when I used to bring it up, it was to the coaches, Keith and Frank. Yeah, they'll take it on board, but the other lot, they didn't like it. But you see, Marciano used to lean back, right, and he used to have that arm there, the old cross as we call it, in front of the face, and that used to block. And by leaning back, it's harder for you to get hit. But you see, these are all the old school techniques, right? Peter, no doubt, you'd have a good chat with Peter probably about this, as you say, because you say he's a very technical coach. And these things are special. But you see, and what Frankie O'Sullivan will tell you the same. How many coaches know about all these things nowadays, Russ? But you see,
these are all the techniques. Straight 1-2 men, aren't they? Like Joshua.
You see, this is it. You see, but I've said
the Kraken styles basically. I'm not going to go at Robert if you're watching, or if you're not, or your mates are. I just think that Joshua's style is very like Carl Froch's, isn't it?
Yeah.
8-1-2 and.
But you see,
more will and heart, isn't it? Sorry.
Exactly, but you see, if you're someone I always think, if you've got someone, like I say, with massive advantages, they're naturally they're flexible like Hamid. Yeah. They've got long arms, blah. But it's where you get a person who's got disadvantages. That's where you see how good the coach can be. Try because it's a lot harder in a boxing ring, as I say, when you're shorter, without the reach, without the speed, without the flexibility. Yeah. And like Charlie Goldman, that's what he did with Marciano. And funny enough, the guy who trained Freddie Roach, Eddie Futch, he did exactly the same thing with Joe Frazier when he boxed Ali. And Freddie Roach regarded Eddie Futch as the best trainer in the world. And if you listen to Freddie Roach, he's a very knowledgeable. He's a very knowledgeable coach. Yeah. But how many of these are about? And going back to the board, I know the old chief inspector with the Midlands Council years ago, when I was with the board as a referee, he resigned years ago because of the very thing you were on about, where people are going up for licenses, Russ, with the board, and the people who are assessing them haven't got a clue, and they're passing. They don't know boxing, and it's a dangerous thing, Russ, like you say, isn't it? It's a dangerous thing to have people who don't know boxing who are saying whether someone can box or not.
Listen, mate, we'll give Perry our license from Border Control. Dennis Hobson's fight, who'll give him a license. You know, there's worse than him that have got board licenses, and they're queuing up to have these medicals. You pass an eye test, get a bit of fitness behind you, pass an eye test, pass a brain scan, you're a professional boxer. People want to make a living. They want to earn for the family. Oh, I'm going to be a journeyman. Well, what about the damage these people are going to take? Some of these coming from these white collars now are terrible. Are really that bad.
Yeah.
I tell you what, right? I could whip my son into shape to fight some of them in 6 months.
Yeah.
At 12.5 stone. And I said, let's get at it.
Yeah.
And I can show people that, look what I can do in 6 months, and these have got professional licenses. And I've just done 4 rounds with him, probably nicked a round or something, or shared one, just to show these fuckers that there's people pinching livings, masquerading as boxers. And it's same with snooker. Earns have watered that down. I watched British Snooker Championship last night. I'm not going to say the kid's name because he tried his best, but Mark Allen played this guy. And I agree with everything Ronnie O'Sullivan says when he said the standard is that bad. They don't even have to screw back. They don't even know how to screw back with check side on ball. Little simple things you pick up as 10, 11-year-old, you know, when you pick a cue up. I was looking at it, and the standard is that bad now at snooker. It's watered down with that many tournaments. They're just milking it, the Hearns, because they own world snooker now, don't they? They've done it. They're doing it with darts. They're overrun them dart players. They can't fit all tournaments. And snooker players can't play in them all. Ronnie's playing in 6 a year. He's not playing in 32. Playing in 6. When Alex Higgins and Steve Davis and them were in the prime, they were only playing in 8, and they couldn't fit them all in. They had exhibitions and that as well to do. But point I want to make is it's watered down. Snooker's watered down. The standard of snooker players now is shocking. Outside of probably 4 or 5 people at snooker, does anybody know all the rest of them? Nobody knows them because they're shit. They're shit. Ronnie O'Sullivan is approaching age that Ray Reardon were when he retired or when he come out in his best. They're all old men now. There's no snooker players coming through, so they're watering it down. What have we got in snooker? Sean fucking Murphy from Rotherham. Fucking snooker grass. Telling tales on people who were partying in their hotel rooms, Ronnie and people like that, Jimmy White. Fucking, he's like representative for snooker, isn't it? He's eat face of snooker, Sean fucking Murphy. Boxing's going the same way. Who's bigger for earns now after Joshua? Conor Benn. Is that fucking it? Conor Benn. I'll fucking go off on one. But anything you want to add before we wrap it up, Mozza?
Not really. I just, as I say, I'll mention about some of the old time boxers. I have mentioned him before, but this is the point I've been trying to get across. There was a lot of good boxers in the old days. They reckon the 20s to the 50s was a golden age, but there was a lot of good trainers. But there was a guy called Charlie Burley, and they reckon he was a welterweight, I think, originally. Went up to middleweight. Was never given a title shot, and he was that good. Ray Robinson wouldn't even box him, and Steve Bunce will tell you the same.
Aaron Pryor was that good that Ray Leonard won't box him because Ray Leonard took a good hiding off Aaron Pryor a couple of times in sparring. Fighters, swerve fighters, it's the natural thing. Jim McDonald told me something the other day. He was saying, just because fighter A beats fighter B, don't mean to say that fighter B can beat fighter C or whatever.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I mean? So,
that's true.
Yeah,
because the styles. But they reckon there was what they used to do, Russ, which you'd like. In the old days, they used to box each other. Like Charlie Burley boxed Holman Williams a number of times, and Eddie Futz described him as the best pure boxer going. And there was a guy, I think Eddie Booker. There was tons and they used to box against each other, which is the other thing nowadays with all this nonsense, protection of records, boxing nobody, you know, for protection of records. It's all wrong. And the other thing I'd like to have a dig about is years ago, there was a bit of purity in boxing. Athletics stunk with the drugs, cycling stinks with the drugs. But now it's too much in boxing. I'm sick and tired of all these people failing drug tests in boxing.
Yeah,
And I
Dylan
know
White,
you feel
where's
the
your
same.
B sample? Dylan White.
Yeah.
Where's
I'm
that B
sick of it.
sample, Dylan? You prick.
I'm sick of it. But I won't mention today because it'll be. I've got a lot to say about it. But an interesting podcast, Russ, I'd like to do with you one day. I'd be on the late great Charles Sonny Liston.
Oh,
It's
yeah. Died age 38, heroin overdose in an hotel in.
But fascinating. But they never worked out when he was born or how he died. You know, really. And listen, if he was around today without being with the mafia, with a proper trainer, he'd wreak havoc amongst these. He really would.
He used to smash George Foreman up in sparring, you know.
Yeah. George Foreman admitted, even though people have tried to dismiss it, George Foreman admitted it. Sonny Liston was the only man who consistently backed him up, and he said he was the most frightening man he'd ever seen in a boxing ring. Liston's reach was as long, I think, as Tyson Fury's.
He had bigger hands than George Foreman listed as well.
You're right. Liston had the biggest hands of any boxer going. When he first entered professional boxing, he left prison, and he went to Johnny Tocco's gym, and Johnny Tocco, not boxing gloves, Russ. He couldn't find sparring gloves to fit him. His hands were that big. They had to have specially made sparring gloves.
Did you see that video with Liston's missus? She were walking like John Wayne, mate. Telling you, she was walking like John Wayne.
But he was treated like crap, Russ. Yes, he had a criminal background. He ended up in prison, but he wanted to be a good role model, and the public they didn't want to know him, you know. But I tell you something, he was some boxer. He was.
Yeah. All right then, Mozza, let's wrap it up.
Brilliant.
Okay, we've had a good chat. What time is it? 8:20. We've had an hour and 20 minutes, Moz.
Thanks, Russ.
Got a few things off your chest. We've righted a few wrongs, and we're trying to save the sport of boxing. I don't know how, but we'll just keep fucking churning videos out and keep having it.
Yeah.
All them people that are watching who've got board licenses who are fucking fuming, and all them people that have just rinsed, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because we press the 18 button on the analytics when we upload it. You know, we've got to let Rick, mate. Listen, boxing needs to change. Fucking board gone. All these sanctioning bodies gone. Get fucking President Biden and Boris Johnson to sort job out. And Calla Sauerland's dad, Big Willie Sauerland.
Exactly. Russ, if I can just say before I go, mate.
Well, then, Mozzo, get it in.
If anyone on the board has got a problem with anything I've said, come on the channel and let's debate it, because everything I've said is 100% correct.
They
can come on the channel.
Not to fucking come near me, them fucking charlatans. They won't come near me. Come on my channel anytime you want. Fucking lot of you shithouses. Right. All right then, Moz. Have a good one.
Yeah. Thanks for the time and the interview, Russ, and much appreciated.
Look after yourself. Take care, Moz. Peace out.
Thank you. All the best.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers. Bye.
All that were Mozza from Wolverhampton. Enjoyed that. We've rinsed a few people, righted a few wrongs, and that's what it's all about, innit? I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a bit late now to get it out on a Thursday, so this is going to go out probably tomorrow. I don't know whether to put it on YouTube or members. I'm going to sleep on it. All right, but we're well ahead of schedule. You've had more than 30 videos for a month, and I only have to do 30. Put a few pot noodles on the table. 30 a month. You've had, I don't know, you'll probably get about 40 this month, but you've had 33 so far. So Can't do any more, can I? All right. So peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. Don't forget to like and leave a comment. But most of all, share it on your WhatsApp. It only takes 5 minutes to send it to your contacts. Share it on your WhatsApp and put a text with it and ask them to share it. That's how you spread the word. That's how we are fighting back. All right. So I've had a couple of cans of Stella. We're gonna have a shake now. Shake, rattle, and roll. We're gonna have a shake now and something a bit herbally. I'm gonna have something herbal. All right. Peace out.